Hello and welcome to the Gambling Files podcast, the podcast that has a new shirt just for podcasting in. I'm one of your hosts, John Bruford, joined by your other host, the youthful Fintan Costello. Fintan, hello.
Hello, John.
Hi.
Nice shirt. Where'd
Thanks,
you get
I
it?
like it. That's a great question. The postman brought it for me.
Did he?
He did.
Did he?
He
And
did.
what does
He
your
very
shirt say,
kindly.
John?
It says no mercy,
No mercy.
and it says Cobra Kai. And all sorts of shit, actually. I mean, a bit more Cobra Kai there. It says quite a lot. It says Cobra Kai quite a few times. I think it's something to do with some TV show. Yeah, I got this as well.
Oh,
It's like booze, but it's sweet.
but you don't eat sweets.
No, I don't drink booze either. But at least the kids
I
can
know.
take part in this.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Dips to
This, this was from friends of the podcast.
Was it?
Well, could I say friends of the podcast? But maybe just friend of the podcast, because one of them hasn't been on yet. But friend of the podcast, Dr. Maris Catania.
Oh.
And also friend of the podcast, but she hasn't been on it yet, Laura da Silva Gomes of
That's
Laura
very
fame.
kind of them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Very kind of
Can I show you? I've got another couple of gifts here that I got last night. I went to a mate's to watch football and he gave me some gifts and he's like, look, if you've already got these, just tell me because I'd really like them. All right, that is my kind of gift buying, that is. And you're not going to have a clue what these things are. This is called Fiction, spelled with a PH, by Mr. Don Coscarelli.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Coscarelli is an independent filmmaker of unusual vision, I think it's fair to say. And his most famous movie probably still is this bizarre movie from the late mid-70s called Phantasm, which is about this creepy, very tall man who runs a funeral home, which is taking the corpses of people and killing other people to make them into dwarf slaves in an alternate reality. And protecting his vision, he has these flying silver balls that kind of whack into your head and drill your brains out. It's much better than I'm making it sound. And he's done some new fiction based on it. He's actually a really good writer. I read his autobiography and it was absolutely fantastic. He's a really, really good writer. And this, which I didn't even know existed, Naked Theatre and Uncensored Horror, a memoir by Stuart Gordon.
They have to be the two most John books I've ever seen in my life.
That worked.
The obscurity, niche, on brand, like that is a friend who knows you really well.
He nailed it. He really nailed it. Stuart Gordon, best known for...
Because like you don't walk into a Waterstones and get either of those books.
No,
like they're not
really
just
don't.
sitting on like a random like.
They're not in the
WH
3 for 2
Smiths or-
offer.
No, they're not in the bin. They might be in the bin actually, but
No, they would never have made it into the store.
like in among the John Grishams and whatever. But that's a very thoughtful friend.
They're
Very
both by very small publishing houses. I mean, they are super niche. Stuart Gordon famously adapted a bunch of. I've just realized I'm going to say a famous author's name, and you're going to be like, I've never heard of it. It did a bunch of movie adaptations of H.P. Lovecraft books and short stories. So Lovecraft was a writer, turn of previous century, and specialized in a very specific type of writing. In fact, the popularity of and I've just realized I'm going to say this and it's not going to mean a thing to you, the whole Cthulhu mythos in modern media actually stems from Lovecraft's writing.
Got it. Thought I knew the name. Tumbleweed, man. Tumbleweed.
But his most famous movie is called Reanimator, and it's about a student who comes up with this bright fluid that reanimates the dead. It is fantastic. It's got a fight with this reanimated corpse. Intestines, all parts of it are used. It's a lot of fun. It's a very fun movie. If you haven't seen Reanimator, I do recommend it. It's a very black comedy.
Talking of reanimating the dead.
Yes, Fintan.
I think we should talk about our sponsors. I don't know if that's the best segment I could come up with. I mean it in a nice way, guys.
Speaking of recruiting dwarf armies to operate in an alternate dimension.
We'd like to thank Clarion Gaming. No, because I was just thinking it's we're recording this in, so it's IGB Amsterdam this week.
Yeah, well, IGB will be finished, won't it?
The second we hang up, I'm cycling into town for a pint of Guinness, and I was just thinking of my hangover tomorrow morning and reanimating the dead. It's like,
oh yeah, yeah. So there is a link.
There is, very tenuous, very tenuous. But I live for tenuous things. Yeah. So obviously, IGB with him goes out. IGB is over. It'll all be about ICE 2025. Barcelona. Let's go.
Big 2-5.
Winners of the Euro Championship thingy.
Fuck you.
Foosball thing. The thingy with the goals.
Had to bring it up, didn't you?
The relief I didn't have to sit through another 30 minutes of extra time was just unbelievable. Just like...
So you're such an angry person. Do you know that? And your anger makes me angry. So you're making me an angry person.
So I wasn't angry. Just bored. Soccer's so boring. Anyway.
It is until Cole Palmer comes on the pitch. That lad can play.
The Homer Simpson thing. If I watched a soccer game, I nearly saw a goal. It's pretty much sums up most soccer games. I think the Americans are onto something with like nice high scoring games. Let's fucking go. Keep it going.
Do you know when football started in the US, like at a professional level? Obviously, it's been played for centuries in the US, really. But when it started, when they did the professional league in the 1970s, they imported all these huge stars. So Pele played for the New York Cosmos. George Best went and played over there, and Franz Beckenbauer. And Beckenbauer, of course, as I'm sure you're aware, captained the great West German side in the 1970s. And I think the Bayern Munich side, which won 3 European Cups in a row. I mean, that dude could really play.
He could kick a ball.
Yeah. One of those players that could do it differently to others. That little thing that differentiates between the merely competent and the great. And this story is relayed to me by I was working on you probably don't need to know this, but it was a knockoff Manchester United magazine. Not entirely legal, I don't think.
Did it have like one of those like dodgy typos or something in the name? If you looked at it, it looked like Manchester United, but it wasn't quite Manchester United. No,
all that was done above board. But whoever got the publishing deal done actually got George Best to sign a contract, so it was in George Best's name. And this was a story that Best had recounted to a journalist that we ran. And it was so because Americans in the 1970s were not comfortable at all with the idea of games that couldn't be won.
Oh yeah.
They devised a way to make sure every game had a winner and a loser. And It was basically at the end of the game, you would have, if it was a draw, you would have kind of a penalty shootout, but slightly differently. And so what you'd have was that the ball would be, I think, about 40 yards out from goal, which is fairly far. And the player would kick it and run towards the goal and basically play one-on-one against the keeper. But unlike a penalty, it's not from a standing, it's not a dead ball situation.
So it's a bit like, don't they do that in ice hockey? I think they do that in ice hockey.
Yeah, it's not dissimilar at all. But apparently when Beckenbauer took his first one, he just stood there, looked at the goalkeeper, flicked the ball up and volleyed it in from 40 yards out.
load of that.
That's it. It's just like
straight to the pub.
But that's it. You know, when you're saying, "Oh yeah, so he kicked the ball and ran," I'm thinking, no, he played smart.
He played smart. Talking of playing smart.
Oh yeah.
We should talk about our other sponsors.
Yeah.
The wonderful Optimove.
Wonderful. Speaking of smart, though, all of the smart operators are using their CRM software in the back end.
All the smartest operators are. Also, over 50% of the EGR Power 50 are using it.
Over 50%, Fintan.
I think it was 54% last game.
I think it's 56, but I could be wrong.
It could be 56.
Maybe it's more now, thanks to the sponsorship of this podcast. I'd like to think so.
I would guarantee it.
But we can't guarantee it for legal reasons.
We're going to allege it.
Yeah, that's it. That's perfect.
The alleged sponsor.
Yes.
We get the cease and desist. Stop using our name. We've told you. We're not sponsoring you. Yes, we are.
Well, you're going to have to pay us to get us to say that you're not sponsoring us. It's not sponsorship.
That's our new model.
Oh, that could work.
This is how much it costs if we mention your name, and this is how much it costs if we don't mention your name.
Let's start at the top with that. I've got a few numbers we can use.
I've got me too.
So anybody out there that doesn't want to be mentioned on the podcast, do contact us, because non-sponsorships are available.
Yeah. We'll just flick through your quarterly report and call out the bullshit. That's a fun game. Yeah, Optimove, brilliant bunch of lads and lasses. Click the link, book the demo. Just do the demo. Go for it.
And it helps to support independent podcasts like ours.
Yeah, definitely. And today's guest, we have the lovely, smart, multifaceted, I'm going to say. He's done everything.
Like a finely cut jewel.
Like a finely cut jewel. Sharp, good looking, expensive, transportable. Put them in your pocket. I don't know how to tell you actually. Björn Nilsson from FTDx, not to be confused with FTX, FTDx. And they are doing some really, really smart stuff with monetizing traffic that an operator can't normally monetize. So the simple example is you're a UK operator, you only accept UK customers, but you get a lot of traffic from Nigeria to your website. The FTDx solution would intervene, do some magic, and you can monetize that traffic elsewhere. So it's a great way of making free money.
It is really good. I mean, the thing that stands out is that you can do it and try it out, and it doesn't cost you anything to do it. So you can literally try it and go, well, that doesn't work. Oh, well. Or, as in what's actually going to happen, it does work, and you have a new revenue stream. Everybody gets a pay rise. And did you tell him that sponsorships are available?
I'll follow.
Great. I'd appreciate that. So listen, right? Obviously, we're going to meet Björn any second now. But I had a birthday party on Friday.
You did? How was your party, John? The cake looked so beautiful. It was one of those beautiful cakes where you're like cutting it, kind of feels a shame. It was so beautiful. But how is the cake?
So my youngest comes up to me just before I cut the cake, right? Baby Al, he comes up to me, really excited, and he pulls on my arm and he's like, Dad, what's up, Al? You cutting the cake now? Yeah. Can I have the eyeballs?
Love it. That's exactly what you should be asking for.
I tell you what, Al, I'll squeeze its head until they pop out. But the cake went down a storm. My sister made a couple of cakes as well, which I asked her to channel Mum's cake making skills. My mum used to make great fruit cakes and lemon drizzle cakes.
Nice.
And everybody thinks they make a good lemon drizzle cake until they taste my mum's, and they all say exactly the same thing, which is, holy fucking shit, I've never had a lemon drizzle cake that good before. So she wowed the, 30, 40 people or whatever we had there. We had some karaoke. Now,
What'd you sing?
Well, my friend Al came over, and me and Al have done quite a lot of karaoke in the past. We used to go down to Brighton to do karaoke on the pier for his birthday every year. Al, to listeners who listen to a lot of podcasts, is one of the hosts of the Chart Music podcast, which is, I don't know if it still is, but it certainly was the number one music podcast in the UK, in which they watch old episodes of Top of the Pops, a bunch of people, and then they take the piss out of them. Fantastic. What a model. But Al, he goes up and he's like, I'll get the karaoke started. And I thought, brilliant. He's going to do his classic Kung Fu fighting. But he didn't. What he did was he went up and he told the bloke the song that he wanted me to sing, which was the Shakin' Stevens Christmas classic, Merry Christmas, Everyone.
That's brilliant.
But he said, don't worry, it's an easy one. It's easy. I'm like, I lost my voice earlier in the week. Nothing's going to be easy. So I butchered that anyway. But then Al did do Kung Fu fighting, and it was magnificent because he took the radio mic and he went outside the building and danced against all the windows. And later on he did, and there's no way you're going to know this song. There was a song that was it's kind of a bit of a club hit kind of thing and a little bit niche. It was called Male Stripper, and it was by Man to Man Meets Man Parish. And he did that, which is, it's a hell of a song. It's a hell of a song.
That's a man who's confident with a microphone in his hand. I like that.
Totally. Well, it's funny, right? Because the lady behind the bar was like, she was like, oh, you booked a stripper. I said, it's funny you should say that. I said, because my mate Al's coming. And he used to be a stripper, and he did this thing that was a challenge for an article, right?
He did the windmill.
Yeah, I saw it live. I'm sad to say, but
it took me.
No, he did this article, right? And it was in one of the British adult publications, and he was set challenges basically that he had to do, and one of them was he had to be part of a routine, like an actual routine that people paid to see with a British stripper troupe.
Okay.
And he did this, and he went down so well that they asked him to join them. And so he actually did it for a while professionally.
Did he?
And Al's like, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to look at him and go, I bet he's a male stripper in his spare time.
It's all of it. It's women seeing strippers versus men seeing strippers are two very different categories.
Well, he's a very funny guy.
And that's the thing. It's all about confidence on stage rather than.
It is.
It's a confidence game rather than.
He was very, very good. I went to see the troupe. We saw them at Stringfellows in London.
Trooping at the colours.
And he was excellent. He basically he had a prop that was about a 5-foot inflatable penis that I'm pretty sure shot something out at the end. But anyway, he did a great job, but he didn't strip. I mean, he didn't strip at the party, but he did sing Man to Man Meets Man Parish Male Stripper, which is the next best thing. But he did it in a sanitized version because my kids were there watching.
Oh, what a legend.
So I almost had the perfect weekend, right? 50th birthday party, Friday night. Almost all of my favorite people in one room. It was fantastic. Just so happy. Saturday, Prestine Carnival. Took the kids. They spent a big chunk of the afternoon in the circus skills workshop, just fucking around with stuff. It was really cool.
Brilliant.
Annie Rose spinned 2 plates at the same time.
No way.
Very cool.
Very cool.
For anybody unfamiliar with my family, Annie has cerebral palsy, and so actually holding 2 spinning plates up is actually pretty fucking difficult for her. But she nailed it. And then Sunday, me and the kids chilled, and then I dropped them off at their mum's, and I went to watch the European Championships final, which England rather selfishly lost. So almost the perfect weekend.
Yeah, they just weren't thinking about you at all, were they?
I don't think they were. I mean, can you imagine trying to top that weekend at some other point in your life? I mean, it's not going to happen, is it?
No,
it's not going to happen, Fintan.
So, I don't think so.
Anyway, that's enough from us.
Let's get on to the show.
Björn Nilsson, who is no relation to Kjell Nilsson of Road Warrior fame. Hello, and join first guest. We are by that's for anybody that's watching this in the style of a William Burroughs book. So Fintan, what I've got in my head is the instructions from our production team, which said we have to make sure we're centered. So I'm just going to take a moment to.
I've literally got a grid. I am perfectly centered. And I got rid of the background. See, new background. John's meditating. Or frozen. It's hard to tell.
I'm fucking centering myself. Fucking stop me doing that, you douche. Now I'm going to look weird on the podcast. Got a new podcasting shirt, though.
You do this. You do.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I got that to John for his birthday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How considerate.
I know, right? Do you know what I got Fintan for his birthday?
I do not.
Pretty sure I got you fuck all, didn't I?
You gave me the magazines. You gave me the big stack of running magazines.
Was that for your birthday?
I don't know. It was a gift.
Was it around your birthday?
Not even close.
Shit. My phone's ringing. Let's just see who it is. Hello?
A landline phone.
It's from the bank security department. Well, fuck, this sounds important. Does that shit work on anybody ever? Anyway, right?
Yeah.
No, what I was going to do
it must do, right? Because otherwise they wouldn't send this stuff out.
It's so easy to do 5,000 phone calls. Right? You just need one person to.
Well, do you know, I don't know if you ever saw this. There was a documentary shown on Fox, I think it was, where a simple working class family in America got their hands on an auto dialer. Somebody Simpson.
Is this the Simpsons you're talking about?
Phenomenal episode. But I'm going to introduce our guest if everybody's okay with it.
I think you should.
We're joined by, I'm only going to mangle this a little bit, Björn Nilsson, the co-founder of FTDx. Now, Björn,
I think that was beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Very nice.
I've got to ask this, right? Because I like movies, okay? You any relation to Kjell Nilsson, who played Humongous in Mad Max 2, known to our American listeners as the Road Warrior?
No relation whatsoever.
Shit. One of these days, one of those is going to come good.
Yeah, it's like Johnson in the UK or something. So
there's only five. There's only 5 Swedish surnames, so it's a bit like South Korea. You just pick one and just run.
One day I'm going to get lucky with that. He was also supposed to play Stallone's opponent in Rocky IV, but ended up being Dolph Lundgren.
Another Swede, yeah.
I read a thing about that yesterday, actually, where Stallone said, "Oh, we should fight for real because it'll make it look better."
That's a great story.
And then spend like a week in hospital afterwards because he just got smashed.
Yeah, well, Lundgren was a very, very accomplished martial artist,
and
is huge.
Didn't he have like a PhD in chemistry or something? Like he was also really smart and proper. So I guess Viking stock kind of thing going.
That intelligence is how Stallone is probably still alive today.
You can't kill the talent. It's bad for business.
Exactly. I may never get cast in anything again. I'll forever be known simply as Grace Jones's boy toy. Speaking of Grace Jones, right? I had a revelation the one day, and I know this is going to sound really dumb. In my mid-20s, I realized that her smash hit single Pull Up to the Bumper was about sex.
Jesus Christ, John. 0 point.
Good for you.
Thanks, Björn.
All songs are about sex, John.
No, some of them are about
drugs and sex.
Yeah, money and sex. Yeah, how am I going to explain these things to the kids? Well, Dad, what's this song about?
Bjorn, FTDx, tell us all about it. What you doing? Why is it so clever? And why do I like it so much?
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot. We started this back in November after having had a call with an operator in New Jersey. And this New Jersey operator said that they got a lot of traffic from out of state and they couldn't do anything with that traffic. And we basically said, just hang on. We have a solution for that. Give us a little bit of time. We'll put a team together and come back to you with a solution. And when going through SimilarWeb and SEMrush and some of these tools, just to see how much traffic is being thrown around the world every day, it's millions, right? That end up at websites that say, sorry, we don't accept traffic in your market, or just a 404 page saying unauthorized access. And none of the operators actually do anything about this traffic. It's, they should focus on the markets where they hold a license, or the markets that they really monetize. But the other markets are quite important too. And it can make a real difference working with someone like us. So we take care of everything for the operator. We build a solution, an iframe solution that they simply insert on their website. It's only shown in the markets where they don't take traffic today, and we will redirect their traffic to other brands present in that market.
So let's do, because obviously we'll have a bunch of listeners who won't have seen the product. So let's do a simple walkthrough. So I visit operator X's website from a jurisdiction that they don't support.
Yes.
What happens then? What's my experience as a user?
You will see either if it's a 404 like a Cloudflare page, or if it's something similar. You will also see we are not available in your market. However, we have sourced these 3, 4, 5 deals for you with other operators that are good in your market. When you click that, you get redirected to the other operator. We get paid an affiliate commission, and we share that 70-30 to the operator, to the operator's favor. Yeah, okay, that's the deal.
So it's a pop up, or it's a notification or something like, hey, not available. Like, for me in the Netherlands, because it's so strict here, if I visit a lot of websites, I'll get one of these unauthorized access warnings. Even if I'm just trying to check out a website, so I'll get the pop up saying, hey, boom, 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 here's some offers. Instead, try these. So first of all, I love it because there's so much remnant inventory or dead inventory knocking around of just, visitors from Russia or, lots of different countries hitting website. And I think Google's in such a mess right now that even the SERPs, which were normally pretty kind of like, it comes and goes, but they're pretty tidy. Like if you're doing a search, like the amount of, say, American websites I get in the Dutch search results right now, because I do a lot of Google searches in English on Google NL, and it confuses Google, and I'll get Costco or so, just something that just doesn't exist. So it's really common. And then particularly then if I'm looking for certain brands, or I've seen, I don't know, a brand on a football shirt on TV, and I've done a search, or I've gone to, what's that website? And I've clicked there, and then there's a lot of stuff happening there. So this makes perfect sense. Based on your estimates, roughly what percentage of traffic do you think? Actually, it'd be quite easy for an operator to see, right? Just go to Google Analytics and just see, like, right, do a country report, show me all the countries we don't support, and like, oh my God, that's 20% of our traffic.
And the ones that we talk to now, they are absolutely amazed when they see the US popping up as their number one country for a lot of the operators.
And this will be the challenge. Like the US alone, like we saw that for sure, where like, I don't know, California and Texas would have been number 1, number 2 states just based on pure population, but online gambling is not legal there. And it's just this dead traffic. There's nothing you can do.
We've set up a facility so that we can monetize traffic in all the 50 states. So with regulated casinos, with sports books, with DFS, with social or sweepstakes. So we can monetize that traffic in every state, basically.
That's fantastic, because it's such a, particularly for anybody with casino traffic. Fun story was a friend of mine started ranking number one for like online casinos in America. And he's like popping the champagne. He's got the Lamborghini website open. He's starting to scroll, ticking his colors, but he was regulated. And it's just like, I'm not making any money.
Nope.
I've got the rankings. I'm getting the clicks, but I'm surrounded by offshore brands, and anybody who clicks on me gets like basically tumbleweed. It was, my heart broke for it, because this should have been like, you talk to like pre-UAGA, anybody pre-UAGA, like, oh, you rank number one for online casinos in America. That must have been amazing. Just money fight, like money guns, kind of traditional kind of stuff. He just, yeah, it was, I felt bad. It was a tough one. Okay, so how does, so the technology is, it's an iframe. So what about normal stuff like, oh, is it going to slow down my website? What happens there?
No, well, we've really optimized it as much as we can, right? And the website, it's only visible in the markets that you don't monetize anyway. So it's not going to make an impact in the other jurisdictions. And one of the questions that we get from a lot of people is that, how is this going to mess up my SEO? Because I'm sending traffic from my website, my domain name, to another operator, but it's not, because it's in an iframe, and Google doesn't pick up what's inside that iframe. So there is no impact on your SEO.
Yeah, even if it wasn't an iframe, Google still wouldn't see it, because Google will be looking at, oh, you've come from Google to this website, you've bounced back again. That's what Google's looking at. It's not looking at, you've hit this website and then you've gone on somewhere else. Because otherwise every affiliate would have bad SEO because of they've gone on somewhere else kind of thing. Okay, that's super interesting. So it's all optimized. It's all really smart. Right. I love the founder's journey story, right? So you just didn't wake up one day and just go, all right, this. Tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to FTDx.
I've been in the gaming industry since 2000, when I started as a management trainee to Pontus Lindwall.
Really?
So back then, NetEnt was an operator. We had 5 online casinos targeted the US mainly, and a lot of things have happened since. But we were 6 people, I think, in a 2-bedroom apartment, and it grew quickly, acquired Betson, and the businesses were split into 2, and then eventually also Cherry. But then I went into the payments industry, because everything was about payments back then. I started my first own payments company.
What was that like? That must have been fun.
It was fun, because I mean, this is 100 years ago, or at least 21. And back then, companies were sending payouts in checks, physical checks in US dollars. And what I did was I just set up bank accounts around Europe and got a seat at the currency trading table. So I made sure that all of my customers only sent me dollars. And then I did all the payments for free. But I did cut in between on the FX, of course. But I sent it, and the players would have their money within 24 hours. So it was still faster and cheaper for everybody.
That's smart.
It was a lot of fun, but it was also hard work, because I wasn't smart enough to realize that I should have built a technical solution around this. So I did it manually, and I hired some people, and we sat there and just sent payments all the time.
Was it just like money counting machines, kind of just?
Yeah, it was just. Well, we didn't get it in cash, obviously, but yes, essentially it was. It was good. It was good. Then after that, we set up a company that traded at Betfair. So we did AI or robot trading 2006 to 2010, I think.
What markets?
Just football or soccer, and just pre-game. but still good up until the premium charges were,
which just ruined it for everybody.
Yep, that was no fun. But then I've been an operator. I've had some smaller casinos and poker sites, and I've worked with Vera John and Leo Vegas and Unibet as a consultant at these places.
Wow, so you've done a bit of everything.
A bit of everything. And 7 years ago, I co-founded a company called Triggy. That's a fan engagement, sports engagement company building live score products for operators and affiliates.
Oh, okay. That's a super interesting area because it's really about the data feeds and getting the feeds and sourcing that seems to be the hard part. Have I got that right?
Yeah, well, Triggy got all the feeds from, or still gets all the feeds from Sportradar. Okay. And then we normalize everything on our end. And then we have odds data from a lot of different operators. So we build live score products with live odds from the operators, but through API connection.
Got it. And the taking in the, because then I suppose you got the live score feeds and you got the odds feeds from the different operators. That, like you said, we normalize the data, but I'm guessing that normalization is like the secret sauce then, in terms of, like a player name spelled slightly different over here, or they format their team names this way, and there's a typo in this one, and there's whatever, right? That must be a nightmare. Or is it easier now with the AI tools, or is it?
I don't know, because first of all, I'm untechnical, and secondly, I've been fortunate enough to work with very smart people that have done those parts.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I mean, I didn't wake up one morning and have an epiphany, but sure, this idea that was new to us when we saw it in September, October. But it was just so obvious that, if I type in whatever brand, perhaps the title sponsor of both Copa America and the Euros now, that's a brand that's only available in 15 markets across the globe.
Yep.
But it's visible from everywhere through shirt sponsorships and.
Is this Betano, is it?
Betano, yeah.
Betano.
I've
never seen it written down. Sorry.
Yeah. So obviously they get millions of visits from
for sure
from markets where they can't take traffic from. So that's one instance. But even other kinds of brands that don't have do any shirt sponsorships or brand marketing per se, but have big affiliate relationships. Those affiliates, they also get reach from markets where they don't have deals. Yeah. So,
and I suppose as well, because obviously you've talked about operators, but I would see this working equally as well on affiliate websites.
Yeah. So we just signed our first affiliate website, actually. They only work in the UK, but they have a lot of traffic in the US and Canada. So
yeah, or if like I know from long ago, like if you're say a soccer website in the UK, you'll get a lot of traffic from Nigeria, which you're not monetizing, or wherever else. So there's a lot of traffic from Africa and stuff. Super interesting. So, okay, so you've negotiated the deals, you plug in your tech, bish bosh, magic happens. Everyone's happy.
we take care of all the transactions and all the relationships. So the operator that has the traffic in markets that they can't monetize, they don't have to deal with other brands, and they don't have to, set up their own internal affiliate business. So we do that for them, and we just, we only charge a percentage of what we can generate for them.
And is it just the gambling industry you're looking at right now? Are you looking at more industries? Because this feels like a common problem.
Yeah, so right now just the gaming industry, but just you mentioned Costco before. I mean, even those kinds of businesses, marketplaces, you name it. This is an opportunity that could be spread across multiple businesses.
I agree.
Or industries.
I can think of 3 industries right now where this could work really well. Super interesting. We'll definitely do a follow-up after this. I've got some ideas. Okay, I like that. And then in terms of roadmap, future stuff, is there more coming, or this is just so simple let's not overcomplicate it, or what's happening?
Well, that's where we are now, right? We just need to sign up more customers, go live in more markets. That's number one. But our name is FTDx, and the X is for exchange. And the idea is that at the end of the day, if I get a lot of traffic from you, from brand A in 10 markets, but they want traffic in 3 other markets, then they should be able to exchange the traffic in the 10 markets that they don't use for traffic in the other 3 where they want it. So we are sort of looking at the outline for the exchange part of this. And where we would just basically sit in the middle like a Betfair, getting a commission on
just
the traffic that we
just arbitraging traffic. That's super, because I would have, because my brain for the exchange was it was more of an auction model for the people appearing on the pop-up.
Yeah,
would be kind of bidding for, right, I want to bid for a top position from this website. The matching the traffic, I think, brokering the traffic, actually, I think is more sustainable for the long run, because everyone feels like they're winning.
Yeah, that's a definite, I think. But the other idea is interesting too. However, since we only work on performance, I don't necessarily want to sell to somebody who offers me 250 euros in CPA if they don't convert. I don't want to have them front center.
So putting on my ex-Google hat, switching to a CPC model would absolutely fix that. And then everything.
It would.
And then everything.
It would. So yeah, I'll bring you in as a consultant then here. Yeah, that's good.
I'll show you what auction intensity looks like. I've got this.
Perfect. So when do we schedule the follow-up call?
Straight after this podcast.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Because you're right. Because obviously, I'll pay you $1 million CPA, but 0 conversions. Who cares, right? So
yeah.
It does feel like Dragon's Den sometimes,
just without the money.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Exactly right.
Okay, I like that. But no, I really like the matching of traffic, because as an operator, you want to go, okay, well, actually, if I'm getting incremental traffic for the markets I do care about, that's actually, if I'm the marketing manager sitting there, like, it's brilliant, right? It's what I want to see.
Yeah, I had a call with the marketing director the other day for a UK company, and he has quite a lot of traffic for some of his brands from other markets. And he was like, yeah, I don't see why I shouldn't try this. And if it goes well, I really, I'm just going to add whatever money I make from all the other jurisdictions that I don't care about. I'm just going to add it to my marketing budget so that I can buy more players in the markets where I want it. So, I mean, that's a sane way of looking at it.
Oh, for sure. It's basically free money. But it's also quite it's a really interesting market research thing as well, right? So if you've got all this traffic from these geos, I'm like, oh my God, we're really we're getting a lot of traffic from country XYZ, and we're converting really well. That traffic's converting really well with this brand. Maybe we should consider market expansion.
Exactly, because that's also the key, right? Because if we send traffic to 4 or 5 different brands in that market, and we can see that, for one of them, it's converting much better than for the others. Yeah, then you can dig down. Why doesn't convert much better? Where does the traffic retain best?
Yeah,
and then you can sort of look into that for your own.
Because you'll also see like affinities. So this brand's traffic converts really well over here. This brand's traffic doesn't, but it converts really well over here. So there'll be these kind of affinity cohorts kind of thing going on.
Yeah,
which would be
it's really
interesting.
I just want to mention that some brands have said, I don't want to send traffic to my competitors. But
sure.
if you don't plan on going into specific markets, then why leave that money on the table? You don't necessarily have to send it to somebody who's your competitor in other markets. You have full flexibility, so you can say to us, okay, I only want to send to these specific brands, or I want to exclude these specific brands. But in a market where there are 100 plus brands active, then definitely there are going to be some that's not going to matter to you if you send traffic their way or not.
That makes sense because, if exactly. So like if this competitor is also active in this market and he's doing blah, 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 like we're always butting heads, then we want to exclude them from the list and pick and choose.
Yeah.
But I think with the intelligence bit of, even if it is a brand where you're butting heads, sending them the traffic, seeing how they convert, like you learn a lot from that. Like that's stuff you just don't get your hands on normally. Because affiliates are always going to be like, oh, your competitors are converting way better than you. But actually getting your hands on that data, I think will be super interesting intel, as even as a test.
Yeah, and we're fine with sharing, all the data that we can get from the affiliate programs.
But there also has to be something super satisfactory about your competitor sending you money. That's gotta be nice, right? There must be something there where like, oh, I gotta check out of those guys. Nice. That's good.
Right.
Their commission goes into the Christmas party. That's not going to the marketing. That's really interesting.
Good.
I love it. Super simple. Make money from inventory you're not making money from. Everything's taken care of. It's just a simple script.
Yeah. No upfront costs, no minimums, no fixed fees, and there is no development work. I think that's number one, right? Because everybody that we talk to, our dev queue is so long, and this, it takes so long. Yeah, well, here you just need a system administrator to copy paste.
Just drop this into your tag manager, and off we go. Kind of thing. Brilliant. And which markets are you, like, is the US the main focus, or are you looking at different markets?
No, we're looking at all markets, right? So if we find an operator that has traffic in New Zealand and India and the Netherlands, then we'll be happy to monetize the traffic for them in all of those markets. So it doesn't really matter to us. But when we look at the numbers from SEMrush and SimilarWeb, the US is by far the biggest country.
Yeah, that would make sense.
When it comes, yeah.
Just, California alone is like if it was a country, it'd be like a top 10 country, right? So just Californian traffic, dealing with that's a full-time job.
Super interesting. And we've done a proof of concept in Finland and Brazil, and we converted about 2% of all the visitors to the website into FTDs with new brands.
Wow.
To me, that's much higher than I expected. I expected to be sub 1% or around 1%.
Yeah, I would have pegged it at like display campaign levels of conversion rates. So much, definitely like decimal points. And 2%, you can make a business out of that. Like that's a good.
That's high, right? But Finland is also a very specific country where everybody's looking for new brands and so forth. So that's they behave differently.
You can say bonus wars. It's fine. We're rated 18. It's okay.
But
or a sophisticated market, I should say.
So it's but I don't know where it's going to end up when we get a lot of traffic, a lot of volume, right?
It'll vary so much based on the traffic source, right? So not just the country, but also how they're finding the website, and that'll have such an impact. So it'll be your classic bell curve of conversion rates, and then the brands themselves and where you're sending traffic. Like it's a complicated thing, but if the ballpark is like single digit numbers, like that's totally worth doing, and particularly for big brands. But what about how does I suppose the other kind of objection you would get from people would be compliance of like, how do I make sure I'm not breaking the law, or I'm going to get in trouble, or this is going to come back to me.
So two very big companies, they've looked at it from a compliance perspective, and they don't have any issues. And they're two listed companies.
Nice.
They don't have any issues with it from a compliance perspective. One of them, though, said that you can only work in markets where there is a local license that we don't hold.
Got it.
So we don't want to work in markets where it's gray, but if it's a white market and we don't have the license, then you're fine with sending it on to the other regulated operators in those markets. Then if you're not a listed company and you're not, so concerned about that, then obviously gray markets is probably where we're going to have a lot of conversions, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so but again, the operator can pick and choose their risk level or their
of course,
their comfort level, and then just dial it up, dial it down.
Definitely. And we are doing a legal review now with a Maltese law firm.
So I'm just thinking like the quarterly numbers are a bit shy and they just kind of turn it up a little bit just for a few weeks.
Yeah, you go after the Dutch unregulated traffic, you get €1,000 CPAs, and then
Then not like that. See you next quarter.
But what do you think about the marketing managers that are looking at big brand campaigns? So if you go back to the brand we spoke about before, if they spend X million euros on being a brand sponsor of the Euros, but they can only monetize traffic in a few countries. If they would work with someone like us that could also monetize the traffic in all the other markets, you'd have to have a different sort of P&L for that campaign, right?
Yeah, because it's such a. It's like, okay, so you're sitting there, you're making a big splash, you're sponsoring the Euros, you're on every TV screen in Europe, but you can only accept customers from like 5 of those countries or whatever it's going to be. And I'm just looking at Europe, let alone the rest of the world. And the amount of traffic, like if you actually, here's a really good example. Booking run their booking.yeah ads. That's not a domain name. How much traffic are they wasting on that? It just blows my mind. And every time I see an ad pop up in the billboard, I'm just getting furious. That's how much money Booking makes. But I think it's such a no-brainer thing to do because you're going to get so much like Chinese traffic, Taiwan, Singapore, countries where you just can't accept customers. And if you can do something with that, it's just such a no-brainer thing to do. And but you could also be smart about it, right? You could do like, guys, we're going to be the headline sponsor of this major football tournament, which is going to be like primetime TV in these 5 countries. You could do bespoke deals where they're like, right, we want to be your Nigerian partner. We want to be your South Africa partner. We want to be your partner for this country. You could basically sell the inventory on to the third parties.
Of course.
And you have to be adding 20% back into your, like, it has to be making significant, like, it's such a no-brainer thing to do. Because if you just treat yourself like a media business and like, it's not going to be a crappy 404 page. It'll be the brand. We can integrate you into it. You could do so much with that landing page for traffic from that country where you treat it like a co-branded landing page of our local partner is Bet Niger, whatever it is, and send the traffic in that way. Like there's so much you could do there to really kind of fine tune it and really squeeze the lemon.
And if you're talking about China, perhaps whatever listed big entity out there may not want to show from a Chinese VPN that you actually send traffic to an operator there. But you could always go through our landing page. So we'll set up something like, do you want to read more about sports betting in your country? Click here, we'll take you to a landing page where we showcase the other brands. So you sort of take a mid layer in there. Exactly.
And you could manage it really well. And I think that's why I'm so excited. Because I saw your website and went, I totally get this. There's so much opportunity. So yeah, there's so much you could do there to just
he did do that,
make more money. But I think as well, though, I think it's what's risky, because obviously the gambling industry is quite conservative, right? And it's one of those, like, they're really, like, this isn't an innovative industry. This is an industry that's very good at copying what works. How was it getting the first kind of couple of clients on board to kind of take that leap and kind of get going?
It's difficult. I thought it would be a lot easier to get people signed up, just because we said before, there is no tech work, there are no costs. It's like you're making zero today, you'll make something tomorrow. Why don't you try it? But it is really difficult to get across. And the bigger the organization, of course, the more layers you have to, and hoops you have to jump through with compliance, legal, management. And sometimes I wish that we would just leave it up to the marketing department to say, okay, I want to try this, so I'm going to do it. And then we'll figure out if it works or not. And I mean, we are preparing that legal review as we speak, so that I can actually send it out together with a proposal.
Yeah.
Like, look at this. Here we've checked these 6 jurisdictions and they all say it's fine. So, yeah, I think that's the main thing.
Okay, that makes sense. And it's because in other industries, like, sending traffic around like this wouldn't be unusual.
No, you always try to find, if you don't operate in one market, then you always try to sell that traffic, even if it's to just a network. But you'll sell it to get something.
Or you see it a lot in, say, e-commerce, where, like, you've completed the checkout, and then they give you, like, this raffle page, which is just, like, full of offers to go do something else and things like that. So I think there's more happening in other industries, or the adult industries, famous for it. Just whatever works, just send the traffic, convert it. But it's definitely some of the e-commerce stuff I've been looking at, where that kind of checkout page incentivization, I think is super. Some of the numbers I've heard are just ridiculous. And it makes perfect sense, right? Because, like, you're not going to go back and buy. You know what I mean? You're done. So rather than just giving you a dead end, sending you on your way. Super.
Agreed. Yeah.
I love it. So how big's the team? All based in Sweden, or how's all that set up?
No, so in Sweden we have 6 people. Our CTO is in Germany. Dimitri Belliani is in Portugal. And that's
friend
the team.
Friend of the podcast. We're big fans of Dimitri.
So am I.
Good. Yeah, he's a smart guy. Brilliant. Well, look, best of luck with the products.
Thanks
I'm sure
a lot.
it'll be an absolute success. If you're not using it, if you've got a lot of traffic you can't monetize, give Björn a call.
Come to us.
This feels like a no-brainer. And then, obviously, if you also want to buy some of this traffic, give Björn a call as well, because this feels like a no-brainer traffic source. And I would be all over it. It's,
Björn, I not strictly related to the conversation we've been having, but we're recording this on the 15th of July. It will be going out in a couple of weeks, I guess. And by that time, the first part of the final season of Cobra Kai will have landed on Netflix. Will you be watching?
I'd have to catch up on the first seasons before then. Sorry, that wasn't the answer you were looking for, but that's the truth.
What's happened to the world? It's changed.
I don't know, John. We try our best.
Is it on Netflix?
It is.
It is.
So I can download it, because I'm going to the US with my son here next week. So after IGV, I'll be going there. So maybe I should watch it on the plane.
How old's your son?
He's 10 soon.
Perfect.
Is that too young for it? I think that's about right, yeah. Do you remember the Karate Kid?
It's a coming of age story.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So it's a continuation of the Karate Kid storyline, but everything is subverted. It's very
interesting.
Good. Very good.
I am telling my son about, catching flies with chopsticks and, Mr. Miyagi and all of his
we've all been
smart
there.
ways, yeah.
I've been trying to get my kids to clean the car. No, not wax it. Just clean it. That would be enough. That would be fine.
With water, not rocks. Please.
Yeah, that'd be great. Björn, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm sorry that I didn't contribute much to the conversation, but sometimes Fintan just gets these nerdy things, and
it's just a Fintan nerd fest.
That's it. I'm screwed basically. And I just come at the end and ask if they could watch Cobra Kai.
Yeah, but you set the stage, right?
Exactly.
Which, at this point, the stage instruction in the script should read: exit stage left, followed by a bear.
Exit.
What? Sorry.
It was exit. EXUNT. I can't remember. It's been a while since on Shakespeare.
Let's see what Uncle Google says. Exit pursued by a bear.
Okay.
Well, he wouldn't have used Latin, would he?
I don't know.
I doubt it, right? But followed by a bear because my name means bear in English, or
does it?
Yeah. So that makes sense, right?
It's a line in Shakespeare where, to change the scenes, it's like a novelty bear chases a character off the stage in medieval times or whatever it was when Shakespeare was. It was funny.
It's in The Winter's Tale. And it's just something that's thrown around as a throwaway bit of frippery in conversation in the UK sometimes, and Ireland apparently. So let's exit followed by a bear. Björn, thank you so much.
Thank you, gents. Really appreciate it.